Good evening, Booktube, YouTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd make a video. It is a Friday. It's a Friday night here in West Michigan. It is 8:17 at night. It is September the 6th, 2019. And at first I thought I might do a Friday Reads. I thought I might do a Book Nook used book haul, but I came across a Booktube tag in Booktube that I wasn't tagged, but I watched Steve Donahue make the tag, and some young girl made the tag, and also the person who originated the tag, I can't remember her Booktube name, but it was called the Boujee Booktuber Tag, and I think it's like the Bohemian Booktuber Tag, and I just thought I'd do it tonight because I don't usually do tags because I don't know, I can't get into them, or they just seemed kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I thought I might do this tag since I want to make a video. I do want to just mention what I did read today. Now this morning, when I got up this morning, I got up around 7:35, and for some reason, as I look at my diary, I didn't read anything this morning. Let me see here. Today is September the 6th. It was 8:25. I don't know, but I did read before going to bed last night, and I looked at it this morning. It's called The Money Cult, Capitalism, Christianity, and the Unmaking of the American Dream by Chris Lehman. I got this out. I was looking at some video in Booktube, and what he was talking about reminded me of this book, and I got it out. I think I got this book, let me see, what year did this book come out? Let me see here. It came out in 2016, and I really enjoyed it. I didn't read the whole thing. I read about 179 pages. It's about 377, but I got it back out to read this weekend and I look at once again. It says here, America was founded, were taught in school by the Pilgrims and other Puritans escaping religious persecution in Europe, an austere, pious lot who established a culture that remained pure and uncorrupted until the Industrial Revolution got in the way. In The Money Cult, Chris Lehman reveals that we have it backward. American capitalism has always been entangled with religion, and so today's mega pastors, for example, aren't an aberration. They're as American as Benjamin Franklin. Tracing American Christianity from John Winthrop to the rise of the Mormon Church and to the triumph of Joel Osteen, The Money Cult is an ambitious work of history from widely admired journalists, showing how American Christianity came to accommodate and eventually embrace the pursuit of profit, as well as its capability of economic inequality. The Money Cult is a wide-ranging and revelatory book that will make you rethink what you know about the form of American capitalism so dominant in the world today, as well as the core tenets of America itself. So I really enjoyed this when I was reading it, so I got it back out. Today I volunteered at the library used bookstore, the Book Nook. I brought home a ton of used books, which I'll show in a video soon. But I read today The Cold Warriors, Writers Who Waged the Literary Cold War by Duncan. I've been reading this pretty steady. I'm really enjoying it. I've read 135 pages. I don't know, some of the stories, events in here I've read about before. I've read a lot about the Cold War. I've read a lot about the writers who are mentioned in this book, but I'm really enjoying it. And then tonight I've been reading Doxology by Nell Zink, her new novel. So I've been reading that. But going back to the questions, the Boujee Booktuber Tag, which is supposed to be like Bohemian Booktuber Tag. Question 1. This book tag mainly deals with money. If you are into books, you spend money on books. Used books, new books. Now maybe you don't have any money. As I've mentioned, for many years I went to libraries. Once in a while I had some money and I'd buy a few books. When I left California in '78 to go to Bible college, I had one box, maybe 2 boxes of books. Now I have going on 13,000 books. And but I did have a few books over the years, but I mainly use libraries, and like I said, I'm a Christian, so I read the Bible. Let me see. I read the Bible all the time, and I went to churches that had libraries, and I used church libraries, and I used seminary libraries, theological seminary libraries. When I lived in the Bay Area, in San Francisco Bay Area, I went to San Francisco Theological Seminary, Union Theological Seminary in Berkeley, and the church that I was attending in Berkeley had a good library. So, but it says here, question 1, what is your average monthly budget for books? How much? Now, I usually spend, now remember, my wife and I, we are in our late 60s. Our kids are grown. My wife has a very good job. She's been a professional nurse going on 44 years. She's at top of the pay scale. I worked up until 2007, and I saved 20% of what I made when I was working, and I invested it into my Edward Jones account. And I have Social Security now. So I'm saying that at this point in our life, which has not always been true the 40 years that we've been married, there were times throughout the years when we didn't have much money for books. We lived from paycheck to paycheck. And when I did buy books, it was very stressful it was kind of stressful on our marriage and on family budget and things like that. And mainly I just bought Christian books that I needed for the gospel ministry when I was in Bible college and seminary. I didn't buy that many secular books. I bought books that I thought I would need going into the ministry. But now, in 2019, I usually spend around $200 a month on books. Now, I take $20 out of our checking account to buy used books at thrift stores and at the Book Nook. And then on Amazon, I usually spend around $200. But as I've said, I spend as much money on books sometimes as I do on CDs. I buy music too. So, but I try to spend around $200, maybe $250 a month on the average. Now, sometimes that might differ. Sometimes I'll get $20 out of the checking, and I won't find anything at thrift stores, and that $20 I'll use the following week. But I usually take around $80 a month for thrift stores, maybe $60. Now and then I usually have my Amazon. Question 2, what's the most you've ever spent in a bookstore? Well, this summer My wife and I, we went to Grand Rapids. It was on my birthday around in August. And we went to a Christian bookstore. Now, as I have mentioned, the Christian books that I buy, I cannot find used. They're academics, they're very technical, and they're very expensive. So when I was at Baker Bookhouse, my wife and I, she bought a lot of books too. We spent over $300. That's recently. So I'd say that's the most we've ever spent, is $350 at a Christian bookstore. Question 3, are you willing to pay full price for a brand new release, or will you wait until you have a coupon or there's a sale? Usually I don't buy new releases. If I do, I pre-order them from Amazon and I get a discount, or I wait to see them at the library used bookstore, the Book Nook. Most of the books I buy are used and they're not new releases. Now, I did buy The Cold Warriors, which is a new release, but I got it for almost, I don't know, I think almost 50% off the retail price. Doxology I bought was a new release, but I got it for like $21. It goes for $34. Amazon gives you pre-order sales, and they knock off money if you pre-order it. But I usually don't buy new releases. Question 4, would you rather buy one new book or several less expensive used copies? I'd rather buy used books. Most of the books that I buy are used. I'd rather buy used books instead of a new book. Now sometimes I'll come across a writer who has a new book out, but I'll look at what they've written in the past and I'll buy one of those instead, just to get a taste of what they have written. And if I really like that other book, then I might buy their more recent literature. What do you think is a reasonable, question 5, what do you think is a reasonable price for a hardback, a paperback, and ebook? I don't buy ebooks. A reasonable price for a hardback for me is $30. That's reasonable. It's expensive, that's why I don't buy new releases. Like this goes for $32.50, which I think is reasonable. The Money Cult, I don't know how much I bought for, but it goes for $28.95. Doxology goes for $27.99. So to me, $30 is reasonable. Now, it might be unreasonable for some people. That's why I look for it used. Wait a year and buy it from Amazon used. You can find a good copy maybe. And a paperback, a reasonable price to me is around $16, $17, $18 for a paperback. Question 6, is a signed book worth more to you? How about a first edition? I'm not into signed books or first editions. To me, I'm not into that. Question 7, what is your most valuable book? My paperback copy of the collected works of St. John of the Cross is what I came up with. I really have a lot of sentimental books downstairs. When Carol and I first got together, Carol bought me a 22-volume set of the works of Thomas Matton, who was a 17th English Puritan, which I treasure. Thomas Matton is my favorite of all the English Puritans. I have Looking into Jesus by Isaac Ambrose, another Puritan work that is sentimental to me. The Christian in Complete Armor by William Grinnell. The works of Jonathan Edwards, the great American theologian and philosopher. The works of Thomas Goodwin, the works of Richard Sibbes, Flavel. I mean, any of the Puritans are kind of sentimental to me. The works of Thomas Boston, Erskine, it just goes on and on. So, but I'd say collected works of St. John of the Cross, Thomas Matton's 22 volumes. Question 8, will you pay more for a cover or edition you like better? I don't really go into covers. Now, if I see at a thrift store a used book that I have and the cover is, I like the cover and I already have a copy in our library, I'll buy it if it's really cheap, but usually I don't care. Question 10, if you won the lottery, what bookish thing would you do with the money? What I would do is I would support small press. That's what I do. I look around for small press and, donate $1 million. I would also, there are Christian publishers I would send money to, like the Dutch Theological Society, or they print 17th century English or 17th century, 16th century theological works and have them translated out of Latin to English. Those kind of things I would do. Bonus, give us an image, actual or mental, of your dream home library. I would like to, I dream every day of having a 2-story house in a very quiet, shady, wooded neighborhood, 2 floors, every room having bookshelves, oak bookshelves, and all my books on them. The house just for books. Nobody would live there. You might have a bed or 2 beds, but just a place I could go to during the day and shut the door and have the whole house full of books on shelves, everything in order, everything in there where they're supposed to be. Have a room where there's a desk, a computer, a good stereo, and a very quiet neighborhood. And in a place like here in Holland, Michigan, where I have access to bookstores and libraries. That's what I kind of think of. So that's the Boujee Booktuber Tag. So that's, I'll just sign off. There's a tag going around where you pick a year and you pick about the books that were published in that year. And I think the next video will be the year 1968 is the year that I already looked these books up last week or 2 weeks ago, and I made a list and I have them in my library, and I might do that video next. So I'll sign off. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for new subscribers. I'm using my newest camera. I hope this works. So until next time, bye.